do the first 2 weeks or first 3 weeks or first 4 weeks in the industry? Right. So let's quickly talk like a story. Right. So first day, you have to sign some contracts. Right. You have to sign some non-disclosure agreement documents. Right. You will be people introduce to team members. Who is your manager? Who is your there's a peer mentor will be there typically. So there'll be a mentor who will help you. And every organization has a process. They will explain what is the process, how things work. When do you get your salary paycheck, they'll create a bank account, everything, right? And it's very important is this many students, they don't do this. You want to become interns. Even interns, they don't do this. It's important to be proactive, observe as much information as possible, and establish a strong foundation of future work in this way. It will help you in the long run. So you have to ask questions. I told you, right? Only one way you can learn is ask questions. We want to share so many things with you. But this, unless you interact, no, you'll not able to understand what you want to communicate. One good question will change entire discussion. I will go in tangential way, but that's how you will learn. You can anytime read the PPT or I can record a video and send it to you. You can see that anytime. But if you interact, you'll be able to gain more knowledge. So you have to ask questions and ask right. Yeah, question is a question. Don't worry about it's right or wrong, right? You have to learn how asking questions is art. And asking questions is the easiest thing. Did it rain today in Gurgaon? Very simple question, right? Can you ask that? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so easy.
Yes, sir.
So answering, yeah, did it rain in Gurgaon? So you can say yes or no, or I was indoor, I slept, I was not in Gurgaon. You can say multiple. You ask some open-ended questions, right? So you have to ask questions. Don't worry, it's the right question or wrong question. Ask a question. People think you're stupid. Let them think, but you're going to learn something out of it, right? You're going to get some information by asking and ask question as such a way. The answer should not be yes or no. So what we call an open-ended question. You ask me, Hari, tell me something about yourself. I cannot say yes, I cannot say no. I have to talk for 2-3 minutes at least, right? Did you have lunch today? What else? I'll say yes or no. Right? So ask as many questions as possible. Extremely important. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And that builds your career. If you want to build a career, you have to ask questions. That's how you learn. So onboarding and that's oriented onboarding. So what are the company's cultures, policies, values, ethics, facilities, what they have. They give a coffee machine is here, lunch is here. You have transport, no transport. If you stay late, what happens? They'll help with all the process and policies, right? Most of the companies have policies. Big companies definitely have. Small companies have policies, but in their own way they are, right? And then you have to sign documents on employment benefits and all the security clearance, everything you have to do. This onboarding and oriented logistics, basically, right? They do it. Then take you around the team and introduce. They get everyone. Any new company joining or somebody leaving the company, we're going to announce it to the team. People have to know you're quitting the company or joining company. We tell them, we send an email welcoming or thanking them for the contribution when somebody quit. But we also take them around in the aisle and with them introduce them and tell them, right? We identify them as mentors or the colleagues or the managers, with the director, everything will do that, right? And you have to learn about your roles and responsibilities, what are the current ongoing projects, what is happening in that particular team, what project you'll be working on, right? This is the opportunity for you to build relationship and establish communication channel. If you keep quiet, what happens? You're the loser. You'll not know the person's name. What is your hobby? You can have some question, no? What is your hobby? You listen to the music or you watch cricket? Or where do you go for dinner? Don't ask personal questions, right? Don't embarrass people. What is your age? What is your salary? What is your sexual orientation? Don't ask such questions. It's all private. Ask questions. My friend, whatever you talk in a public environment, ask that questions, right? So project overview. So people will tell you what is the design or what a project allocated to you. What is the goal of the project? They'll tell you what are the tools and methodologies they use. What is the design flows? What are the various tools you are familiar with? Let's say simulation. What are the various tools you are familiar? No? You not use any tools?
Vivado, we can use VCS.
Very good. Fantastic. Yeah, that's enough. You made my day. Thank you. There's so many tools and new tools will keep coming. There's a lot of accounts of open source tools that's coming up these days, right? Extremely important. We are going to do. So how many of you know they can do a physical design in open source? Are you all aware?
Very less resources are there.
No. You can actually do a tape out with the open source tool. You can talk about it. Again, I don't know. I'm not competent to talk about it, but there are people. I'm going to meet I have a meeting at 3:30. I'm going to talk to open source person. Okay. Okay, there are people. Okay. So we are not we are all frog in a well. I keep telling I am a frog in a well. You have resources to fabricate. You have engineers, qualified engineers in India to fabricate chips and test the chips in India. Right now, there are people. I was not knowing that a few months before. Okay. 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 So you get a lot of training, skill development, how you turn and get trained here right now. Company specific trainings and tools. You'll go through the trainings. Right. And so you'll understand what are the tool methodologies, any technique for SOC integration, everything you'll learn. Subject to a particular company, that but every project will have the tool flows. So you're working on a service company environment, different customers will have their own flows. So you have to learn for the particular customer specific thing, right? Depending on software, verification methodologies, scripting languages, how the files are organized, where they are stored, so much information. So you'll get either documentation or formal training, informal training. There are various ways of doing that. Okay. So first thing, what is shadowing? So this is what I do in industry, but every industry they do that. So you'll not be given a job directly. You're joining an intern or full-time employee. They'll not say, here's about you, architect or micro architect. Or you code this RTL. They will not tell you that. So they'll ask you to write a script, automate something. Or you follow this particular engineer, he'll be your mentor. You look at how he's designing. Can you pick up 10 lines of RTL? Can you code it? It'll be redundant work, but still that's how you have to build your skill. You get an insight into the chip, right? So you have to do something called shadowing. That's what we do. Okay. And you get familiar. What are the workstations you use? How do you log in? How do you use it? What are the various? How do you run the tools? How is the environment? What is the version control system? You know about the design environment. Do you know what is the version control system? There's a lot of keyword. So please stop me if you don't know anything. I'd be happy to talk about it.
Yes, we know.
Can you give me one example of version control?
Git SVN.
Very good, very good. I was about to GitHub. Yeah, very good example. So you get some initial work to do hands-on. They'll say integrate this particular block to this particular block, run this simulation, debug this particular simulation. Under mentorship, that's what under somebody's supervision, that's what you'll do in the first few weeks. Okay. Don't expect architecture, micro architecture. That'll be 3+ years and it will come to you. Unless you are Isaac Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, then you'll get a job. But have patience, it's okay. You want to do that, that's your goal, which will happen in 5 to 10 years. Okay.